Today's parents feel more judged than ever before. No shit. Are you feeling the demands of parenting culture 2022? You've clicked on the right video. Hello, my name is Melanie. I'm filming this on my 33rd birthday. I have an almost 2-year-old and I'm halfway through my second pregnancy. And even though I don't share my son's identity online, I have shared some of my parenting experiences. No one told me what I was letting myself in for, deciding to talk about parenting in the public eye. Oh my god. Pretty sure we're all adults here. Pretty sure we all know that there's no way to please everyone in life. But that doesn't change the fact that society seems to be very confused and can be very confusing when it comes to motherhood, and that all of the extremely strong opinions and emotions that people carry with them on how you parent your child can really wear you down if you let them. The mixed messages start in the hospital. You're pregnant, you're at your pregnancy appointments. There's posters on the walls about how breast is best and, you know, breastfeeding is a gift to your child. I breastfed for most of the last couple of years, but I was being told I should use formula immediately after my son was born because my breast milk wasn't enough. And the second you decide how you're going to feed your baby, keep your baby alive, the opinions come at you like waves, even from people that you love and care about. If you decide to go with formula because that's what suits you and your family setup, everyone and their mother has an opinion on it, even though they've not walked in your shoes. Maybe your milk didn't come in, maybe your baby had tongue tie, maybe it was causing you excruciating agony, maybe your baby was absolutely starving because they couldn't get enough milk. Maybe society has taught you that breasts are sexual and they should be kept for your partner, and that it's disgusting and gross to breastfeed, and that is like bubbling inside you and giving you extreme anxiety about breastfeeding. Maybe pumping was giving you mastitis over and over again, or maybe you just didn't want to breastfeed. It probably feels like everyone wants you to feel guilty about it. And then if you do breastfeed, immediately it's like you're hugging the baby, you're doing this for selfish reasons, like you want to burn more calories. It's going to exhaust you so much that you're going to be a terrible mother for the rest of the 24 hours. Your baby isn't going to gain enough weight. Your baby is going to be too dependent on you and attached to you. And then you reach like 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, it's like you're still breastfeeding. When are you going to stop? That's getting a bit weird now. That child is going to be hanging out of that tit when he graduates college. It literally does not end. And like, you know, I can't even talk about breastfeeding online without it being turned into a conversation about formula. Just speaking about the benefits of breastfeeding, it upsets people. If a mother talks about why she chose to feed formula to her baby, the comments are all about breast milk and, oh, you obviously didn't try hard enough. So it's either you breastfeed and everyone's like, oh, go cover up, and oh, that child's too old for that now, you should really swap them onto cow milk, even though cow milk is milk stolen from a cow that was intended for their calf. And then on the other side, it's like, you know, you're formula feeding your child that would have died without that formula. That formula has literally kept your child alive. And you, the baby's mother, had terrible maternity leave and had to go back to work, working wild hours just a few months into your baby's life, and formula is all that's keeping your family going. And everyone is basically telling you that you're a failure. So yeah, it starts in the hospital and it follows you home. Do you sleep train? Do you not sleep train? Maybe having your baby sleep next to you helps your postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression and enables you to function as a mother. Or maybe your baby being right beside you gives you anxiety and you can't sleep at all, which makes you depressed, and then you take all that out on your baby. Like, no two people or two situations are the same. Don't even get me started on the topic of whether you work, whether you don't work, whether you work part-time. We're expected to raise our children like we have no career, while at the same time we're expected to work like we have no kids at all. Because we're all out here, you know, Marvel protagonists. That's what we are. Of course, women should have the choice to work and have children. But what about when you want to choose the full-time job that is raising children? Are you supposed to just perish within this society and have no home and have no financial independence? If you're a stay-at-home mother, you're lazy. But if you put your children with a childminder, you're the worst mother of all time. If you work part-time, which is what I do, you're just doing a bad job at all of it. And you know, why can't you just pick one? Okay, I'll be a stay-at-home mother. Oh, so that's all you do? You just sit around all day with your kids? Oh, that must be unfulfilling. All right, no. I'll get a full-time job. I'll go to work. I'll work my ass off. What about your kids though? Like, why would you have kids if you don't want to actually raise them yourself? After you have a baby, like when you and your partner, your parents, you better prioritize your relationship, your marriage, your partnership, whatever it is. You can't just let that slide now. You can't just let them drop to the bottom of that priority list. You absolutely need to make time for your partner. It should be just like it was before the kids. But wait, where are you going? You're going to the cinema. You're leaving your kids all night with their grandparent. Insert judgmental stare. Send judgmental comment. How mothers dress is another one. Like, you know, it's as if when a human comes through your vagina or out your belly, you suddenly shouldn't like the same fashion that you once did, especially if it's too revealing. People will criticize you for being overprotective, and they'll call you like a helicopter parent if you're always kind of hovering over your child and watching them and, you know, making sure they don't, I don't know, swallow half a bottle of mouthwash. But then if you just like go do your thing and don't properly watch your child, and they climb up on a chair and reach out for a candle and burn the house down, burn themselves alive. Not a good look. Everyone has an opinion on technology and how much TV is okay, and is any TV okay at all. I carried so much guilt about letting my son watch like 10 minutes or half an hour. When I as a child, I was literally in front of the TV all day, and I'm a completely functioning adult. I'm fine. I love movies and TV shows so much. Sometimes you need that 20 minutes to get literally any cleaning done. Toddlers like to run all over the place, and they're not always going to stay where you want them to stay while you're cleaning. Yet if you don't prioritise how the home looks, it's, you know, oh God, she can't handle it. Look at the state of her house. Little tuts from people in the supermarket if you see like a child acting out, and everyone just throwing the mother these disgraceful, judgmental looks as if she just has not got a clue. Then there's the whole conversation about whether you share your children online, whether you don't share your children online. I don't share my child online, but then on the other end of the coin, and I'd speak to friends about this, like there are so many valid reasons why parents see no harm in it. Like our children are going to be brought up in a very tech heavy world, and it's like, God forbid you associate with someone who does anything different to what you choose to do for your child and your family and yourself. How dare you try and coexist with other people? Before I share why all of this that I've just spoken about, why it is how it is, I want to first share how I managed to deal with all of the mum guilt that parenting in the public eye caused me to have, with the help of today's video sponsor, BetterHelp, and that's help, H-E-L-P. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. You can talk to your therapist in a private online environment via secure video and phone sessions or confidential text chats at your own convenience. I have to say, it is so perfect for those early days of parenting when you just feel like you cannot catch an hour's break. There's a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that might not be available to you in your area. Like, you're able to request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime if you're looking for someone who specializes in something very specific. If you use my link, which is down below, you get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp therapy. You'll just be asked to fill out a little questionnaire to assess your own specific needs, and then you will be matched with a therapist in as little as 48 hours. So here are some things that I learned through talking to my BetterHelp therapist, some new understandings of mine, and just some advice to help you to run that motherhood gauntlet, because it's a gauntlet. judgmentalism. So like, you know, when you eyeball what someone else is doing and you have a little thought and you're like, I wouldn't do it that way. And then there's the extreme of that where you actually like hound people about their decisions and you'll send them nasty messages online, or, you know, you'll gossip about them. That is born out of insecurity. But the thing is, all parents are in some way insecure about their parenting, because we're not handed a manual or a rule book when we're leaving the hospital with this small human. We're all just winging it. We're all just figuring it out as we go. And we all have such different circumstances, like different setups, our living situations, our jobs, our relationship, a support network or a lack thereof. I think I definitely used to think I was very above all this type of thing, like, you know, the judgment and all that. I thought that made me very mature and like, oh, I've overcome my bitchy teenage past. But actually, like, real maturity is realizing and accepting your own human nature. But having a judgmental thought is very different from acting on the judgment. And, you know, what a lot of people do, I've noticed, especially online, and this is where mothers are just like torn to shreds all the time. You see it under articles about parenting decisions by like celebrities and stuff. People feel like if they direct attention, and attention is being directed at someone else for something they're doing wrong or whatever, that it's taking attention or possible attention like off them and their own failings. And it's like, you know, that's the whole thing with bullies as well. Like, I'm going to keep the attention on this person because then people are less likely to notice and comment on me and my choices and where I fall down in life. It's normal to make snap judgments about what other people are doing, especially with this. Like, there's so much pressure to be a perfect parent nowadays. Sometimes the inner voice inside us will criticize what other people are doing because it makes us feel temporarily, momentarily better about our own parenting. It can be threatening when you see other people doing things differently to how you're doing them, because if they're doing it different, maybe what I'm doing is wrong, you know? And I've had these feelings and thoughts on so many things I've decided to do. So something that has helped me to kind of solidify how I feel about my own choices is like, firstly, I look at my son. I'm like, how is he doing? He's pretty bloody amazing, and everyone loves him and everyone comments on how lovely he is, and he's just a little dream of a boy. And yeah, like, I observe that and I'm like, right, he's fine. And then I'll follow people who do things similarly to me. You know, people who bed share, people who practice gentle parenting, people who do still work while they have kids and are like constantly talking about how they're trying to figure that out, because it's just such a minefield. Like, no one has figured out how us women are supposed to deal with the career/motherhood situation. But, you know, I get inspired following other people who talk about that. And I try and remind myself all the time about how many challenges being a mother brings up. And like, me criticizing another mother for how she chooses to do something, it's not really going to validate my way as the best way. But all it's doing is just it would make me feel bad. It would make her feel bad. I've not walked in her shoes. She's not walked in mine. Every single one of us is just trying to figure out what works best for us and our baby. At the end of the day, as long as a child is fed and loved, safe and clean, looked after, you know, that's all that matters. That's what should matter anyway. So I'm not the thought police. I'm not here to police your thoughts. But before you share an opinion on what someone else is doing, like before you go and say to someone, you shouldn't be doing that because no, especially if it's someone in your life, because, you know, I think we all kind of expect maybe a bit of criticism from like strangers online, but it's very different if it's someone that you rely on for support, and it's someone who, yeah, like, you need to feel like you can turn to them. Please just consider how your message will be perceived. You know, even if you're meaning it with love and care for the child, for the mother, and you think that telling a woman, for example, it would be so much better for you and your marriage and your child, to just, you know, put your child in their own bedroom and take it from me, you know, I've been there, I've done that. Like, there's a lot of this from older generations, I think, as well, where they genuinely just, they're like, my way is best. Ask yourself the question, are you genuinely wanting to help the person you're saying this to, or is there a part of you that's trying to justify your own choices by questioning someone else's choices? And that applies to your thoughts as well. Like, have your thoughts, that's fine. You can have very strong opinions on these things. We all do. We all can. But it's just also really good to challenge yourself and challenge your own thinking, because sometimes it can open up new perspectives and, like, I don't know, just help you level up a bit, evolve as a person, become more enlightened. Being a mother is hard enough without us all making it harder on each other. And I just thought I needed to say these things because, yeah, I've had my fair share of shit from people online, and it just makes me really sad that, like, we're at a point where, like, I can't even say I'm doing this because it makes this thing easier, or I really like doing this thing because for these reasons. And I can't even say those things without it being turned into like a competition or a fight, or other people taking like what I'm doing as a judgment on them, which, you know, we can all do. Like what I said, it's like if you see someone doing something differently, it can make you question your own choices and your own decisions. We all need to be able to stand by our choices, and for some that might be, you know, looking back and feeling like, oh, I wish I hadn't made that choice, I wish I'd had more support in coming to that decision. Or it might just be like, no, I did what was best for me and my child at the time, and that's it. So yeah, I'll go now. I'm probably very overexposed, saying goodbye as Casper the Friendly Ghost, dressed up as Miss Honey from the end of Matilda when she wears her dungarees. Please like the video if you liked it. Please share it, please subscribe, and leave a comment for me down below. I love reading your comments so much. It's still my favourite part of making YouTube videos. Almost 10 years on, so right. Farewell, goodbye, good friends, goodbye.